Who is the OMEN 16 Slim really good for? Who should walk away? And does the price make sense for someone who just wants a solid laptop that can handle a few games and some creative work? If you're on the fence, the biggest risk is ending up with a machine that looks great on paper but feels over-engineered for your daily routine, or under-engineered when you finally push it into a VR session. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks running this laptop through a mix of typical day-to-day chores and the kind of heavy lifting that most gamers and content creators eventually need. The first thing I noticed was how quickly the system boots from the 1TB SSD. You're not staring at a loading screen for more than a few seconds, even after a fresh install of Windows 11 Home. That translates directly into less wasted time when you're pulling up a large Photoshop file or launching a new game after a quick coffee break. It's the sort of responsiveness you expect from a high-end desktop, but packed into a 16-inch chassis you can actually carry to a coffee shop. If you're a serious gamer who wants to hit 144 Hz on a 2K panel, the OMEN 16 does deliver. In titles like *Shadow of the Tomb Raider* and *Cyberpunk 2077*, I consistently hit the 140,150 frames per second range with medium-high settings, which means the screen's refresh rate isn't just a marketing number. The RTX 5070 GPU handles ray-traced effects without choking, but the sweet spot is really in the balance between visual fidelity and thermal headroom. The laptop's slim profile means the fans spin up noticeably under sustained load, and after an hour of continuous gaming the chassis gets warm enough that you'll want a lap desk if you plan to use it on a blanket or your thighs for long stretches. For most people, that's a small compromise compared to the convenience of a thinner design. Creative work is where the AI-ready claim starts to feel useful. The Intel Core Ultra 9 285H processor advertises the ability to process 13 trillion operations per second, and in practice that shows up as smoother timeline scrubbing in Premiere Pro and faster renders in Blender when you enable the GPU-accelerated AI denoiser. The 32 GB of DDR5 RAM means you can keep multiple heavy applications open, Photoshop, DaVinci Resolve, a web browser with a dozen tabs, without hitting the swap file. If you're a YouTuber or streamer, the built-in 1080p webcam is decent enough for a facecam feed, and the laptop's AI-enhanced noise cancellation does a respectable job of cutting background chatter when you're recording in a less than quiet room. On the flip side, there are practical drawbacks that become clear after a few weeks of use. Battery life is, frankly, limited. Even with the power-saving mode, a full day of mixed use, a bit of gaming, some video editing, and a lot of web browsing drains the 80Wh battery to under 30%. You'll almost always need the charger at your desk, and the power brick itself is a bit bulky, which can feel at odds with the laptop's otherwise sleek aesthetic. The keyboard, while having good travel, has a slightly softer click than many gamers prefer, and the lack of dedicated macro keys means you'll have to rely on software for complex key bindings. If you're the type who builds intricate control schemes for shooters, you might find that a bit limiting. Another hidden trade-off is the weight. At just under 5 pounds, it's lighter than many 17-inch gaming rigs, but it's still a heftier companion than a typical Ultrabook. If you're commuting with a backpack that's already full of gear, you'll notice the extra mass. The ports are generous. You get USB-C with Thunderbolt 4, a couple of USB-A, HDMI 2.1, and an SD card reader, but the layout pushes the power connector to the far side, which can feel cramped when you're trying to plug in a headset and a mouse at the same time. So, who should actually take the plunge? If you're a gamer who wants a portable machine that can run the latest titles at high settings and you also dabble in video editing or 3D rendering, the OMEN 16 hits the sweet spot. Its combination of a high-refresh 2K panel, a strong GPU, and a massive 32 GB of fast RAM means you won't outgrow it in the next year or two, and the AI features add a modest but real boost to creative workflows. It's also a good fit for students in design or media programs who need a single device for both coursework and some serious play after class. Who should skip it? If your primary use case is light web browsing, office work, or you're looking for a laptop that can survive a full day unplugged, you'll likely be better served by a more battery-friendly Ultrabook. Likewise, if you're a competitive esports player who lives for ultra-low latency and wants a keyboard with mechanical switches, you might feel constrained by the softer key feel and the thermal sealing during marathon sessions. And if you're on a tight budget, the price.